Right guys, welcome back to another video. Today's a refeed day, which I'm looking forward to. So it's 550 carb. So I've got this today and I've got it tomorrow as well. But I'll only show you today's. It'll be very similar foods anyway. So I've just finished checking for this morning. I do that every Friday morning, hence why I'm pretty naked. So I'll put some shots up here so you can see. So I'm really flat, but I was 178.8 this morning. So I'll probably see a couple of pounds go up over the next few days for the refeed. But yeah, I'll see you at the first meal. So guys, meal one. Oh, it's better than yesterday's food, doesn't it? So meal one is 2 bagels. Got 2 pieces of bacon on each and some of these frozen hash browns and a couple of dates there. So it's literally just, I've got 2 meals today before we train. So I'm trying to front load a few of the carbs to get them in my system. I'm going to enjoy this now, and again I'm not going to record myself. So I'll see you for the second meal. So the carbs in that meal were almost the same as my entire day's worth yesterday. Yesterday was 150 carbs. It's safe to say it was very nice. It didn't even hit the sides, but when I come back here later on, I'll go into why I'm doing a refeed and what they are and that sort of thing. But for now, I've got another meal planned now that I'm about to have, so I'll show you that. But my main goal now is just to try and get quite a few carbs in before my leg session, just so I can utilise them, make the most of the refeed days. But it's amazing what food does to you when you're in a prep, or any sort of diet phase really. Like, you get so excited for it, and already I feel much better. I'm hoping to go for a walk outdoors today, but it's pissing down, so we'll see. But yeah, so I'll show you meal 2 now. So for meal 2, we have cream of rice. I'll have it pre-workout just because it digests really well. It's 80 grams of cream of rice. I'll show you which one I use because it's an absolute game changer. It's £2 from Asda as opposed to like the £20 ones you get from supplement stores and that. So yeah, it's worth it. It is unflavoured, which I prefer because I mix in the whey anyway, and I find that if I have flavoured cream rice and flavoured whey, it's just too much. So 80 grams of that with 20 grams of oats. Don't knock it until you try it. I find the oats just make it a bit more creamy and they slow down that digestion just a little bit, because I find I'll just go hypo mid-workout if I just have cream of rice at this stage. So I'll mix that with about a 5-to-1 with water. What I do is I'll cook it for about 3 minutes. Use a whisk, it's just so much easier. And then what I do is I make sure to whisk it after 3 minutes, just so it doesn't go clumpy. And I'll put it in at, like, I don't know, 30-second to 1-minute intervals. Because what you don't want to do is for the rice to cement at the bottom. So I'll put it in for another minute or so. And then I'll mix that with about 10 grams of dark chocolate. I melt that into it, and then some salt and the whey, and then a banana. So meal 2 done. Didn't even hit the sides again. Digests really well, like I said. I also had 50 grams of dates. So that's them medjool dates. It's amazing. So I had 2 of them with that pre-workout meal. That was like an hour ago. So I'll probably go for a bit of a walk now. And I've got 1 squares bar. But yeah, so we're at the gym now. Legs is on the cards today. So it'd be quite nice to have a full leg session with a bit more carbs in my system. Usually by the time I do legs on a Friday, it's after the rest day food on a Thursday, and then after like 1 or 2 meals on the Friday. So today I'm a bit more energetic, even though the carbs won't fully be in my system yet. That's more so for tomorrow's and Sunday's training. What I forgot to record, well, I did actually try and record it, but I forgot to press record, was what's going in for my pre and intra. So my pre looks like some sort of weird potion. I'll play like a relay of the actual products I use, but basically it's half a scoop of Conviction and then half a scoop of pump product. I don't like too much stim on leg day. If I have too much caffeine on a leg day, then my breathing goes. More so than off season, but even in a diet, I tend to like gas out on a hack squat first before my legs go. So that's why I do that, but it's still like 160 caffeine. And then I'll have half a scoop of pump just to, again, beta alanine really. I like the feeling of it. I'll use a full scoop tomorrow for the push session. And then for my intra, it's in this sneak cup here. But that's 40 grams of cyclodextrin today as opposed to the normal 20, and then 10 grams of EAAs as well. And then I've got a gram of salt and a gram of low salt. And I also put my creatine in there as well. A gram per kilo. No, a gram per 10 kilos of body weight, so 8 grams of creatine in there. And that's that. So I'll record what I can for legs. If it's good enough, I'll put it on YouTube as well. And then I'll catch you obviously for the next one. And the next meal is the post-workout meal, which is meal 3. So guys, we're back from the gym. It's a very good leg session actually. I don't know whether it's because I've got more carbs in me or whether I just think I've got more carbs in me and it must be better. I don't know. But it was a good session. I was there a bit too long, really. I was there since 1:30. I don't know if you can see the clock there. It's 5 o'clock now. We're just gone. So I was there for about 3 hours. That does include cardio. Usually on a training day, when my carbs are quite low, I do get a bit of hyper towards the end of the session, so it's quite good because today I'm not at all. So post-workout, I've already started making it. It's literally 150 grams of the best cereal there is. I've got about 200 milk, and then I shall have about, destroy the place. Then I'll have about 35 grams of whey as well. Not mixed together. I don't know how people have whey with their cereal. It's just gross. Like, have it on the side. But anyway, that's that. I'll have this now. I'll have a shower on that because I'm really gross. And then I will discuss the title of the video. Probably do a voiceover to some training clips. But yeah, we'll see. I shall see you in the next one. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the voiceover. I thought I would do a voiceover to talk about what refeeds are whilst playing some training footage in the background. I won't talk about anything training related in this voiceover, so if you have any questions about my training or anything like that, just drop me a comment, let me know, and I'll discuss that in another video. But I'll play some sets in the background just so you have something to see while I talk about refeeds. So, refeeds, what are they? They're periods of time where, usually 1 or 2 days, where the goal is to replenish glycogen. 1 day is usually good enough if you want just a bit of a mental break from dieting. But what you'll find is that a day of eating a couple of hundred extra carbs isn't usually enough to replenish your glycogen stores, which is the goal of a refeed. And this is true in terms of you won't see much glycogen increase in terms of enhancing training, although that mental benefit might give you a bit more oomph in the gym. And any sort of hormonal benefits, which I'll go on to in a second, also will not be benefited most likely with just 1 day. So as you diet down, your hormones, your ghrelin and your leptin are affected. So as you diet down, your ghrelin will increase, telling your brain that you're hungry when you're not, and your leptin will decrease, which basically is your satiety hormone. So as your leptin decreases, your feeling of being satiated will also decrease. So you'll just not be as full. A refeed for more than a day may help reset or reverse these symptoms a little bit. Also, as you do diet, your body will adapt to conserve energy, which makes sense. So as you diet down, as you spend longer time in a calorie deficit, your body will do things like limiting fidgeting or general little movements, or if you're sitting on the couch and you need to turn the telly over, you just won't be bothered to go and get the remote, which you might do normally. You'll also notice that with conversations, you won't be inputting as much as you usually would like to. And also little things like, laughing and talking in general just won't be there. You might find something funny, but you not have the energy to actually smile or laugh. It's bizarre, but that's what happens. And what this does is it just reduces the amount of calories that you burn. So what a refeed might do, especially when it's back to back, is just counteract this. It might trick your body into thinking it's got more calories than it does and increase these neat activities. As for why 2 days is better, it allows your body to have a longer period of time to adjust to these higher foods and be more responsive when you do get back into that diet. Hopefully then increased activities will just linger a bit longer. So what you do during a refeed is increase carbohydrates quite a bit. And what I like to do, and a lot of other people tend to do, is decrease fat and protein as well, just to limit the amount of surplus. So you increase carbohydrates quite a bit and decrease the other macronutrients, just so that you're not in a surplus. Carbs are protein sparing as well, so reducing protein is okay. Fats, the benefit of limiting them is that it will allow more carbohydrates, but it will also stop you eating too much junk food. Junk foods tend to be high in fat and carbs. What I would recommend is not to increase fibre too much, otherwise you'll get quite bloated. So if you start having 200 grams of oats, then you'll find that your digestion will be quite off for the rest of the day, which might affect training and kind of beats the object of one of the benefits of refeeding. I'd recommend incorporating refeeds the day before a main session. So let's say your legs are weak, and that's where you need to grow the most. Maybe doing a refeed the day before, or if you train in the afternoon, do the refeed on the day of so you can get lots of carbs to fuel that session. Try not to incorporate refeeds late into a day or a day before a rest day, otherwise it's kind of pointless having them extra carbs. Cardio and steps, I tend to say keep the same. Meal timings, I would say for most people keep the same. However, I do go from 5 meals to 4 meals just because of that lower protein. So lower protein and an increase in trace proteins from things like bagels and just the higher carbs just means you're getting less highly bioavailable protein sources. And obviously we want to meet a certain leucine threshold. So what I do myself is I have 4 meals and I make sure to get at least 35 grams of highly bioavailable protein per meal. This will ensure that you have decent boluses in each meal. Having 4 meals instead of 5 also allows the meals to fully digest before you have the next one, which is good for some people, including myself. Remember to utilize the carbohydrates pre-workout, like I said before. just to encourage that training session to go better than it has been recently. When I wouldn't recommend them is if you're just feeling a bit hungry, then it's probably not worth doing a refeed. Feeling just a bit tired, again, maybe that's not a good enough excuse to do a refeed. Or if you're just starting a diet and you're within a few weeks, again, you shouldn't really have to do a refeed. It's usually after the first, 4 to 6 weeks onwards, you should really start thinking about refeeds. And the leaner you get, the more you might have to finally do them. But again, any questions, let me know. So how I do them is I increase my carbs by about 250 to 300 each day for 2 days. So by the second day, a lot of my hunger hormones have already calmed down a bit and I'm not as food focused. Obviously that will change deeper into a diet. You will get more food focused as time goes on. The reason why my carbs are quite high, or the reason why I increase them by quite a lot, is because I am quite aggressive in my diet, especially at the starter diets or mini cuts. And this extra carbohydrate increase with the decrease in protein and fats will not put me in a surplus. If anything, I'll still be in a very slight deficit or maintenance. I decrease my protein by 50 grams because they're usually 230, which is very high anyway. So I decrease them to 180 grams, which is still a gram per pound of body weight. And it still ensures enough HBV protein. I also keep my fats on training day levels, which is about 40 grams. So my carbs are usually 550 to 600 and my fats are usually 40 grams. I tend to do mine on Friday and Saturday because on Friday I train legs, Saturday I train push, and Sunday I train pull. So by doing it on Friday and Saturday, it ensures that all them training sessions get a benefit, including the pull session on the Sunday, because I've had 2 days of refeed before that. And it allows me to get a few carbs in before that session on Friday. I don't really eat anything that I wouldn't normally. The only thing I would tend to add is maybe some jam and bagels. I tend to eat more of the same foods just because I know I can digest them very, very well. And it also avoids gastric distress and all that sort of thing. If you're a lifestyle trainee and not a competitor, then yes, incorporate some more fun foods. Accept the fact that you're going to have a slightly higher fat just to accommodate for that. And also accept the fact that you might get more cravings afterwards. So for some people, it's just not worth it. And that about covers everything. Obviously, there's a lot of reasons as to why we do refeeds. I spoke about a few of them here, and not all of it's proven, some of it is. But again, trial and error. Try to see what you like and see what works for you and go from there. They only last a couple of days, so you can always revisit them in the future. Play around with it, see what works for you, and go from there. The end goal should be that you look a bit better, you look a bit fuller, and you feel better mentally to go into the next diet. And your weight loss should also be a bit more smooth after a refeed. So any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of the video. So guys, welcome to the last meal of the day, meal 5. It's very similar to the last meal that was in the last video. No, it's not. It's very similar to meal 3 in the last video, yogurt meal. But it's not just yogurt and strawberries this time, it's a bit more exciting. So I'll show you now. Yes, I'm wearing a dressing gown. Just got out of the shower. So it's very similar, like I said. I'll show you. It's skyr again. There's 350 grams in there, which is exactly how much I need, so that worked out pretty well. Again, a bit of sweetener in there. This time we've got lots more fruit, so it's still strawberries. We've got an apple as well. We'll have 30 grams of honey and 40 grams of granola. So this is the best part of a meal like this, is if you do it this way, so you zero the jar first, then put the teaspoon in. And then what you can see is that when I get to 30 grams, which is what I'm having as my serving, that anything left on the spoon is part of that 30 grams. So the best bit is licking the spoon. As you can see, before I drop anything, the honey, the granola, the fruit, it's up there with one of my favourite meals. But that's it. So what you probably see from this video is, yes, I could have had more fun foods. I could have had more Pop-Tarts or other just junk foods to replace some of the foods I had here, which I do still like. What I tend to find is if I have too much junk food, I just end up craving more. So if I had a pack of Pop-Tarts instead of all this fruit and this honey, which is 2 Pop-Tarts, I'd end up wanting 2 more or 4 more, and then that's how you end up either overeating or going to bed hungry still, even though you just had a refeed. And you also train a bit shit, your performance goes a bit shitter. So make your food quite healthy. I mean, you saw some things today. That granola is probably not very healthy, but it's 40 grams. The squares bar, probably not very healthy, but again, it's one off. So a lot of things I have are more or less whole food when I can. It's just to make sure you enjoy your meals, that you digest them well, and that you don't end up craving more crap after you have them. And that's the same in the off season as well, if you're on, 800 carbs like I was last time. And that's it for the video, to be honest with you. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you want to see any particular video, let me know. I'll try and get some training videos in. But otherwise, yeah, have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks a lot.